As the world quiets down and the noise of the day begins to fade, there is a rare opportunity hidden in this stillness, a moment when your mind becomes open, impressionable, ready to reshape itself. The ancient Stoics believed that nighttime was the hour of the true warrior, the hour in which one examined the self not through emotion but through clarity. Tonight, you are stepping into that same lineage. This is not merely relaxation, this is reconstruction. While your body rests, your mind rises to a higher level of control. The truth is, most people go to bed carrying the weight of others, their opinions, their expectations, their judgments, their demands. They surrender their inner peace to external noise without even noticing. But you are here because you refuse to sleep as the average person sleeps. You are here because you understand that the mind you wake up with is shaped by what you allow into it during these quiet hours. And tonight, you will use this time to become untouchable. Stoicism teaches that strength is not loud. It is not forceful. It is not something you perform for the world. Real strength is internal, forged in silence, built in solitude, shaped by discipline. And so, as you settle into rest, you are entering a temple of the mind where you will practice the same discipline that guided Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Their lessons were not meant to be read once. They were meant to be absorbed, imprinted, lived. But this training goes beyond Stoicism alone. There is a strategic sharpness woven into tonight's journey, a Machiavellian clarity that teaches you how to move through a world full of deception, judgment, and competition without being affected. You are learning to combine Stoic emotional control with Machiavellian perceptiveness. A calm mind, but never a blind mind. Peaceful inside, yet strategically aware. As you breathe in, feel the old self dissolving, the self that reacted too quickly, cared too deeply about meaningless things, and allowed others to live rent-free in your mind. As you breathe out, feel the emergence of something stronger, a centered presence, a composed identity, a mind that no longer bends under pressure. Each breath is a small act of rebellion against your old patterns. Tonight's training is simple. You listen, you absorb, and your subconscious does the rest. You do this while you sleep so the changes bypass resistance. The conscious mind often argues, doubts, and hesitates, but the subconscious accepts transformation effortlessly. This is why emperors, generals, and rulers practice night reflection. The mind is most malleable when the world is silent. Feel your body growing heavier, but your mind growing sharper. Not tense, just clear. Not anxious, just awake within. You are entering a state where you are both deeply relaxed and deeply aware. A state where the world cannot touch you. A state where opinions lose their power, where fear loses its grip, where doubt loses its voice. This is the home of the untouchable mind. And as this pre-intro closes, remind yourself of a simple truth Marcus Aurelius wrote. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Tonight you are not waiting for strength to appear. You are constructing it. You are programming it. You are breathing it into existence. This night is the beginning of a new mental era for you. As you enter deeper stillness, the mind begins to loosen its grip on the constant noise that filled your day. This is the moment when the world's influence weakens and your influence strengthens. Stoic philosophers understood that the mind is most receptive when the ego becomes quiet, when there is no pressure to perform, no one watching, no expectations. Right now, you are stepping into that sacred space where transformation doesn't require effort, only openness. Most people fall asleep still imprisoned by their thoughts. They replay conversations, regrets, mistakes, fears, and worries like a loop they cannot escape. But tonight, you are doing the opposite. You are choosing to fall asleep with intention, not with mental chaos. You are programming the mind the way an emperor would, with deliberate repetition, clarity, and self-command. This is the beginning of emotional sovereignty. In this state of half-wakeful awareness, you have access to a deeper version of yourself, one who is not limited by old stories, old patterns, or old identities. You are meeting the part of you that is capable of silence even when the world is loud, the part of you that is courageous even when circumstances are uncertain, the part of you that remains centered even when others lose themselves to emotion. This is your highest self, the self the Stoics trained every day to reach. Think of the words of Epictetus. No man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom isn't about circumstances, it's about your relationship with your own mind. Tonight, you are reclaiming that mastery. You are shutting the door on anything that steals your focus, your peace, or your self-respect. You are reminding yourself that nobody deserves control over your emotions but you. At the same time, you are sharpening your perception. Machiavelli advised rulers to know the nature of those around you without letting emotions distort judgment. This doesn't mean living in paranoia. It means living with clarity. It means waking up tomorrow with eyes that see more accurately, more intelligently, more strategically. This clarity comes not from tension, but from calm observation, the kind of clarity your mind is absorbing right now. As your body relaxes, your subconscious becomes alert. It listens without resistance. It absorbs without fear. It rewrites patterns without hesitation. Tonight, you are teaching your mind to respond differently to life, to become immune to insults, indifferent to distractions, unmoved by chaos. You are teaching it to choose strength automatically, silently, instinctively. With each slow breath, the noise of other people's opinions fades. The heaviness of old insecurities loosens. The fog of doubt disappears. You are not just relaxing, you are evolving. You are creating internal rules that will govern your emotional world. Calm over impulse, clarity over confusion, strength over reactivity. And as this intro concludes, remember this. You are becoming someone who wakes up with a mind that cannot be shaken by anything external. Tonight, you are not falling asleep. You are rising into your new identity. As the world dims into silence, you enter a domain where no one else is permitted, your inner fortress. The Stoics taught that the mind must be fortified like a city that cannot be breached, a place where outside forces lose their power the moment they collide with your walls. Nighttime is when this construction becomes possible, when the distractions fade, when the demands stop. When you are no longer performing for anyone, that is when the foundation of inner strength is laid. Tonight, your mind begins forming those walls. Your fortress is not built with aggression or noise. It is formed through stillness. Think of Marcus Aurelius writing quietly in his tent while armies waited outside, the calm ruler in the center of chaos. He didn't strengthen himself by force but by discipline, training his thoughts to follow reason rather than impulse. Right now, as your breathing softens, you are entering that same discipline. You are training your mind to remain centered no matter what storms rise around you. Most people live with open gates. Anyone's opinion can enter. Any insult can change their mood. Any setback can break their confidence. They don't have walls, they have exposed nerves. But you are learning something far more powerful. Your internal world is under your command. What enters, what affects you, what stays, this is now your choice. That alone already places you above those who live at the mercy of whatever the day brings. As you prepare to drift deeper into consciousness, imagine yourself walking through the corridors of this fortress. Every step represents a belief you are reinforcing. I am responsible for my mind. I do not owe emotional access to anyone. I do not bend for opinions. I am sovereign over myself. These are not loud declarations, they are quiet, private truths. A fortress does not announce itself, it simply stands. Here is where Machiavelli's insight becomes relevant. He wrote that the strongest leaders were not the ones who were feared or loved most, but the ones who depended least on external validation. This same principle applies to your inner strength. The less you depend on approval, on praise, on reassurance, the more untouchable you become. Your sleep is becoming a training ground for that independence. Your subconscious absorbs these truths more effectively now than at any moment during the day. There is no resistance, no doubt, no insecurity attempting to challenge what you're learning. This is why nighttime training is so powerful. Transformation happens without the ego interrupting. You are reprogramming your responses at their root, where emotions form, where judgments arise, where triggers live. You are healing, strengthening, refining from the inside out. In this calm darkness, your mind rehearses tomorrow's strength. It practices silence where you used to react, patience where you used to rush, neutrality where you used to take things personally. You are teaching yourself to remain grounded in situations that once destabilized you. This kind of mastery doesn't come from reading or wishing. It comes from repetition, from conditioning, from quiet nightly sharpening like this. As this chapter closes, feel yourself settling deeper into your fortress. Safe, centered, clear. You are different already, not because you forced yourself to change, but because you allowed your mind to be rebuilt. Tonight, your foundation becomes thicker, stronger, smarter. You are constructing a mental world where you cannot be overpowered by noise, opinions, or chaos. You are becoming untouchable, one night at a time. Every day, your mind tells a story, a constant inner dialogue that shapes how you feel, how you react, and who you become. For most, this story is chaotic, reactive, and filled with doubt. It whispers fears, repeats criticism, and sometimes yells in frustration. But the Stoics teach that you are not your thoughts, you are the master of them. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The first step to becoming untouchable is to seize control over this dialogue. Imagine this inner conversation as a court in your mind. Who speaks? Who listens? Are your thoughts a wild mob, or are they disciplined advisors? Machiavelli, the strategist of power, knew well the importance of controlling the narrative, both to others and within oneself. He advised rulers to cultivate a clear, focused mind because a confused leader cannot command loyalty or respect. Your mind must become that focused court, where noise is silenced and only wisdom speaks. There was a story about the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who struggled with self-doubt and anger but wrote his thoughts down every day to train his mind. He knew that unchecked thoughts could become tyrants if left free to roam. Through constant reflection, he tamed his mental storm and ruled with equanimity. Your nightly practice is the modern equivalent, a chance to listen, revise, and command your thoughts before they spiral out of control. The key is to develop mental sovereignty, the ability to watch your thoughts without becoming a slave to them. This means recognizing when a thought is harmful or unproductive and choosing not to feed it. The Stoics called this apatheia, a state of being unperturbed by external events or internal turmoil. It is not numbness but freedom, the freedom to decide which mental impulses deserve your energy. Machiavelli understood this from a different angle. He believed a leader must project strength by controlling perceptions, but first, they must control their own mind. The cunning prince doesn't let fleeting emotions dictate actions. Instead, he strategically chooses responses that serve his long-term goals. Your mental dialogue must become your strategic tool, silent when needed, forceful when necessary, always calculated. To build this control, start by catching your automatic thoughts tonight. Notice when your mind drifts toward fear, regret, or self-judgment. Then imagine stepping back, observing those thoughts without judgment, and gently redirecting your focus. This act of detachment is a powerful rebellion against mental chaos. Each time you practice this, your inner voice grows quieter, clearer, more aligned with your true purpose. Remember that silence is a form of power. When your mind is calm, you are not easily baited by drama or provocation. You are the unmovable center in a spinning world. This mental calmness builds resilience, the foundation of being untouchable. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Tonight, claim that power fully. As you drift towards sleep, allow this awareness to settle in. Your inner dialogue is not an uncontrollable flood, it is a river you can guide. Your thoughts are not enemies but tools. The night is your laboratory to experiment with mastery. You are training yourself to become the sovereign of your mind, calm, strategic, untouchable. One of the most misunderstood concepts in personal power is detachment. Many think it means indifference or coldness. But true detachment, as the Stoics teach, is something far deeper. It's the ability to experience life fully, joy, pain, success, failure, without letting those experiences control your inner peace. Epictetus said it plainly: don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. Detachment is the key to emotional immunity. Imagine a general on a battlefield, unshaken by the chaos around him, focused entirely on the outcome he controls. That general is you. You do not waste energy on what cannot be changed. You focus only on what is within your power. Machiavelli's prince knew this well. He didn't let rumors, insults, or public opinion disrupt his plans. Instead, he maintained a detached mindset, always thinking several steps ahead. This emotional separation is not avoidance, it's strategy. A story from the Stoic tradition tells of Seneca's exile, a man stripped of wealth, power, and position, yet who maintained a serene mind because he understood that these external things were not within his true control. His detachment allowed him to rebuild himself from nothing, untouchable by fortune's swings. You are building this same resilience tonight. You are learning to separate your worth from your circumstances. Detachment is not numbness or passivity. It is a fierce form of engagement. It demands awareness, acceptance, and a ruthless focus on what matters. Machiavelli would say it is the art of choosing which battles to fight and which to ignore. This mindset prevents you from being emotionally hijacked by petty dramas or distractions, freeing your energy for growth and real impact. Tonight, you are practicing this by releasing attachment to outcomes, to approval, to fear. You are training your subconscious to welcome whatever the world offers without losing your center. This doesn't happen overnight, but consistent nightly conditioning builds a mind that is resilient by design, a mind that can stare down chaos and remain composed. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This is your power to revoke emotional suffering by choosing your interpretation. This power grows in the silence of your mind as you sleep. Detach so you can dominate. Detachment allows you to move through life without being entangled in every drama, every slight, every unexpected turn. It makes you untouchable not because you avoid pain, but because you have built an armor of perspective and calm. It gives you freedom to act with clarity, no matter what the world throws at you. As you settle deeper into rest, feel yourself shedding old chains of emotional reactivity. Tonight, you reinforce the boundary between what you control and what you don't. You become the calm eye of the storm, a force that observes, adapts, and ultimately commands. This is the Stoic secret to becoming untouchable. Before dawn breaks, when the world still sleeps, the truly powerful are already claiming ownership over their time. The Stoics taught that mastery over one's day begins the moment you wake, but it actually begins the night before in the quiet moments when you prepare your mind to face what comes. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work as a human being.'" This mindset is your first step toward becoming untouchable. Imagine a prince preparing his army before battle, strategizing, organizing, eliminating distractions. You are that prince. Your time is your greatest asset. When you own it, you no longer react, you act. Machiavelli emphasized that fortune favors the prepared mind and preparation is the product of discipline. The night's calm offers the perfect time to organize your intentions, so when the day arrives, you move with power and purpose. There is a story of the Stoic philosopher Seneca, who would review his day every evening, asking himself what he did well and what he could improve. This reflection was his way of holding himself accountable, refining his actions with ruthless honesty. You too can develop this habit. When you go to sleep with a plan and wake with clarity, you strip chaos of its power and reclaim your role as the author of your life. Owning your time means saying no to distractions before they even arise. Machiavelli's advice to rulers was clear: control what you can, and do not let yourself be pulled by trivial demands or gossip. You are training your mind tonight to resist the endless calls for attention that steal your focus. Your mental fortress is becoming impervious to interruption. This discipline of time mastery is not about rigidity or stress. It is about respect for yourself, your goals, and your limited energy. Stoicism teaches that life is short and must be lived intentionally. When you own your time, you honor your life's purpose, refusing to squander precious moments on what does not serve your growth. Tonight, you are planting the seeds of this discipline. As you drift towards sleep, imagine yourself waking tomorrow with a clear plan, a calm mind, and a focus so sharp that nothing can derail you. This is the mindset that turns ordinary days into victories and setbacks into stepping stones. Remember Marcus Aurelius's reminder: waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This is the call to action you answer tonight: to own your time, own your decisions, and own your day. The power to shape your life is in your hands, starting with your mind as you sleep. As this chapter closes, feel the weight of wasted time lifting from your shoulders. You are now becoming a master of your day before it even begins. You are untouchable because you refuse to surrender your most valuable resource, your time. Perspective is the secret weapon of the untouchable mind. The Stoics taught that the way you see events is far more important than the events themselves. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." Your ability to shift perspective, to zoom out from immediate discomfort and see the larger picture, is what shields you from being overwhelmed by life's chaos. Imagine standing on a mountain peak, looking down at the sprawling valley below. The storms that rage seem small, distant, and manageable from this height. This is the kind of perspective Stoicism teaches, a view that transforms turmoil into lessons, obstacles into opportunities. Machiavelli's strategic mind operated similarly, always thinking 3 moves ahead, calculating the long-term consequences rather than reacting impulsively to the present. There's a powerful story about Epictetus, once a slave who rose to become a philosopher, who was beaten for refusing to do a task. Instead of anger, he chose to see the event as a test of his own resilience. His perspective freed him from pain's hold, allowing him to focus on what he could control: his mind and attitude. This is the profound strength you begin to embody tonight. Perspective doesn't mean ignoring your emotions or problems. Rather, it means acknowledging them without being enslaved. It means cultivating a mindset that can hold discomfort and still act wisely. Machiavelli knew that leaders must be ruthless with emotions, but compassionate with strategy, never allowing personal feelings to cloud judgment. Training your mind while you sleep to adopt this wider view is transformative. As your body rests, your subconscious builds pathways that enable you to step back and evaluate situations more clearly when awake. This mental expansion is the foundation of emotional freedom, the freedom to choose how you respond, no matter the circumstance. Remember Marcus Aurelius's wise words: "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them, and it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." This power to rewrite judgment starts here and now, in the silent hours of rest. Each night you reinforce this broader vision. You become someone who does not drown in small problems but rises above them. Someone who sees setbacks not as failures but as part of a greater game. Your mind becomes a calm strategist, not a reactive victim. As this chapter closes, feel yourself stepping back from the chaos of daily life. You are becoming the master of perspective, able to see what truly matters and disregard what does not. This is the essence of being untouchable, living by the laws of reason, not the tyranny of fleeting emotions. The untouchable mind is not ruled by fleeting desires or cravings. Instead, it has learned to recognize the difference between what is truly necessary and what is merely tempting. Seneca warned, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Most desires are illusions, distractions that pull us away from our inner peace and purpose. Tonight, you train yourself to observe these desires without surrendering to them. Imagine a commander controlling a battlefield. He doesn't chase every skirmish. He waits for the right moment, the decisive strike. Similarly, you must learn to master your desires, not by suppressing them harshly, but by understanding their nature and choosing which to act upon. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must be both cunning and disciplined, knowing when to give in and when to stand firm. This balance is the core of true freedom. A story from Epictetus illustrates this well. When asked how to live free, he answered, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This means clarifying your values above immediate gratification. It means training your mind to focus on what builds strength rather than what offers momentary pleasure. Your nightly practice strengthens this discipline. Control of desire does not mean rejecting joy or pleasure, but it does mean refusing to be ruled by cravings that scatter your energy. Machiavelli's prince wasn't a hedonist. He was a strategist who understood that excess leads to weakness. Your mind becomes untouchable when it refuses to be distracted by every passing whim. Tonight, as your body relaxes, imagine your desires as passing clouds, not storms to be feared. You observe them, acknowledge their presence, and let them drift away. This practice rewires your subconscious to respond with clarity, not compulsion. Over time, this builds a reservoir of self-control that makes you stronger. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you focus on discipline and reason, your entire being changes. Your desires become aligned with your values. You no longer chase shadows but pursue substance. This alignment is the essence of the untouchable mind. Through nightly reflection and repetition, you deepen this control. You prepare yourself to wake with clarity rather than chaos, purpose rather than confusion. This self-mastery is not easy, but it is the path to true freedom, a freedom that no external force can take away. As this chapter closes, feel your grip on fleeting desires loosen. You are not a prisoner to temptation, but a master of your own will. This control is your armor, your shield, your power. You are becoming untouchable, one thought at a time. Resilience is forged in the fires of discomfort. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." To become untouchable, you must not only accept discomfort but embrace it as a tool for growth. Discomfort is not the enemy, it is the path to strength. Imagine a warrior who trains in the cold, the rain, and the harshest conditions. He doesn't avoid pain, he invites it because he knows it makes him stronger. Machiavelli's leaders were similarly forged by adversity, learning to use hardship as a source of strategic advantage. The more you lean into discomfort, the less power it holds over you. A famous story comes from Seneca, who endured exile and personal loss but used these trials to deepen his wisdom. He taught that hardship is an opportunity to practice virtue, patience, and self-control. Your mind, trained through nightly practice, begins to see challenges not as setbacks but as lessons designed to build your inner fortress. Discomfort triggers a choice: react with fear or respond with courage. This choice defines the untouchable. Machiavelli knew that rulers must cultivate a cold calculation, a willingness to face difficulties without flinching. Your nightly training cultivates this mindset, preparing your subconscious to meet life's challenges with calm resolve. Embracing discomfort doesn't mean seeking pain for its own sake. It means recognizing that comfort is a trap that dulls the mind and weakens the spirit. The Stoics taught that true happiness comes not from avoiding pain, but from mastering your response to it. This mastery transforms pain into power. Tonight, as you settle deeper into rest, imagine yourself walking through difficult moments with grace and strength. Picture yourself responding with patience when provoked, with calm when pressured, and with wisdom when confused. This visualization reprograms your subconscious to build resilience effortlessly. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In other words, respond to life's blows not with bitterness or despair, but with virtue and dignity. This is the untouchable way, rising above pain without being crushed by it. As this chapter closes, feel your fear of discomfort dissolve. You are not avoiding pain, you are using it as a stepping stone to greater power. The untouchable mind is forged in these moments. You are becoming stronger, tougher, and more unbreakable than ever before. Forward in life, Yaut Jaja.